Good morning, folks. Welcome back to another live session. It's James Kuzner with the Popix Studios in Vancouver, British Columbia. We are going live here to check in and see what's going on with the LA fires down in Los Angeles County, California. Of course, we know the devastation, the lives that are being lost. Last count that I got was 11 lives lost so far in the fires of Los Angeles. We anticipate that number sadly will increase as the fires persist. And for the areas that have been devastated already, once they are re entered into those areas and start searches, we are confident, unfortunately, that there will be more lives and more individuals found that have succumbed to this natural disaster. Now, keeping in mind that there are a lot of risks, not only with the fires themselves, but also with people not using common sense. We know that one of the aerial attack aircraft from Quebec, Canada, has been grounded because it was in a collision with a drone. People are still flying drones trying to capture footage and images for their social media. And of course, this is a major risk, but it's also it's against federal law. And people do not seem to have the common sense to understand that when those drones, no matter how big or how small, are flying within the wildfire zones, they are potentially a hazard to the aircraft and to people on the ground. As such, when they are detected in the skies, the aircraft must stop fighting the fires and either be grounded or remove themselves from that area where the risk is present. So again, if you know anybody that is flying a drone in that area, I encourage you to stop them one way or the other. Again, it is not only a risk to the firefighters, but to people on the ground. We know that one of the water bombers from Quebec, Canada, has been damaged in an airstrike with a drone in that region. That aircraft is now grounded in Los Angeles. The aircraft cannot be put in the air. It cannot be used to fight the fires. And that is a direct result of some ignorant shit putting up a drone in restricted airspace in the fire zone. This is not only an expensive fix for the aircraft, but it now takes a very vital piece of equipment out of the sky that was being used to fight the fires. So again, remember that drones are illegal to fly within the fire zones and the immediate vicinity. Keeping in mind that this has been an issue in Canada for several years now. And as a result, the Canadian government increased much stricter fines and penalties for anyone flying drones within restricted airspace, especially during natural disasters. As I said, we've seen them flying to capture footage and images within the wildfire zones in British Columbia, in Alberta, in Ontario, and other parts of Canada. And what happens, of course, as I said, that when those drones are detected, the aircraft have to leave that area of the airspace in order for the ensured safety of the pilots and of those on the ground. Fortunately, with this one that has struck one of the water bombers, it did not result in the plane crashing. It did not result in injury, which is one definite benefit. But again, now that aircraft is out of commission and cannot be used to fight the battles of the wildfires. So again, if you have a drone, remember that lives and the response to the fires is much more important than you getting footage and images for your social media and increasing your followers. It's just common sense, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't have that common sense to keep their damn drones out of the skies around the fires. And one of those drones, no matter how small, they get sucked into the engines. They get hit by propellers. Or in this case, the drone collided with the aircraft and damaged the wing. So again, there's just so many ways that these drones can cause damage and destruction. Now, imagine if that drone had actually crashed as a result and it had gone into the propellers and caused damage there or such. It could have been a fatal accident. Excuse me, folks. So again, no drones in the fire zone. So it's just common sense, but unfortunately, it's not so common to some people. Right now, we are seeing images from ABC's affiliate, KABC in Los Angeles, and you can see the wildfires going on here. For those who have never been up close to a wildfire, you don't understand the power, the gravity, and the stress that it causes. But believe me, it is a horrific situation down in Los Angeles at this time, and the fires continue to rage out of control. Several have been contained, but only very small amounts in terms of the mass area of burning and flames. As you may or may not be aware that fire zones can also, when these fires are so out of control, create their own weather patterns. They can create their own wind patterns. They can have firenadoes and so many other risks. Now, when you get the shifting Santa Ana winds in California, or you get different wind patterns blowing the embers and the ashes through the sky, they can very easily light up areas in the surrounding mountains, in the surrounding communities. And once those winds pick up, it is very hard to predict and control at times which direction that fire will move. It can, as I said, create its own weather pattern, which can cause a sudden shift in the direction of the fire, putting those battling the flames in harm's way. So with that, I would like to extend a very heartfelt appreciation to all first responders in Los Angeles who are there, whether it is from the LA County Fire Department, CAL FIRE, or the responders who have come in from Mexico, or Canada. There are firefighters and firefighting equipment that has been brought in from around the world. So with that said, thank you to all of the first responders who are dealing with the fires in Los Angeles. If you were here last hour while we were broadcasting, we covered some safety information, and this is of use for not only current victims of the wildfires, but also for people who are returning after any disaster, whether it's fire, it's floods, it's earthquakes, and whatnot. And these are some very important issues. Now, let's talk about the wildfires specifically, though, is that when you are returning to a property, whether that's a business, a residence, or such, and you are going to that zone, you're going to be just filled with adrenaline. You're going to be emotional. You're going to be very focused on trying to see what's left, and you may not be thinking about the hidden risks. There are a lot of risks to returning to the fire zones once the fire is out, extinguished, and you are cleared. There is still going to be a lot of safety issues to take into account. And we'll start with respiratory, and that is because there is still airborne particulates and potentially carcinogens that are floating in the air. They may not be visible to the naked eye, but breathing them in, you'll notice your chest tightening a bit, you may be coughing and such, but you may not realize the long-term impacts that can have. Now, keep in mind that some of the older structures could still potentially have asbestos or other risks that you don't know about, but also just the everyday contents of the surrounding area burning can, again, put those particulates in the air that you're breathing in and cause respiratory diseases, cause birth defects, cause all kinds of risks. So again, if you are pregnant, I strongly recommend that you stay out of those zones until cleared. And when you do get cleared to go in, you take a lot of extra precautions. Ventilators, respiratory masks, all these different things that should be considered when returning to your property. Again, the airborne particulates and potential carcinogens can be a short-term and long-term risk to your health. If you are pregnant, if you have lung disease such as asthma or COPD, if you have reduced immune system, then these are all things to take into account. The elderly and the very young, again, at increased risk to look at long-term impacts of breathing in the fire smoke while it's happening, but also the airborne particulates that could be present after the fire. Now, you can also be aware that one of the things you'll want to do is to confirm that the gas is turned off at the outside meter. If you can do that, then do it. If you can't, then it's strongly recommended that you confirm with your utility company that they've already done it. A lot of times they will go home and do that, excuse me, before they clear you for return. So again, make sure that your gas is turned off. If you are able to enter your home or your business, if it is still standing, the next thing to consider is that you want to be very aware of where you are stepping. The ground may have shaken due to ongoing activity and water drops, all kinds of different reasons from the surrounding area. So there may be things that have fallen off of shelves, out of cupboards, and so forth that may be on the floor that you're not expecting. So be aware of that. If it is dark, you want to make sure that you have light, whether it's a flashlight or an LED panel or something that is operated by battery or by rechargeable. Do not plug it in. Go to the fuse panel if you have safe access and it is not near pooling water. You want to make sure that you shut all of your breakers off. Now, even though there may not be power flowing to your home, there could be a point where there's a surge or power comes back on, and you want to have your breakers off when that happens. Once again, this is a very important issue. Now, when we talk about the different risks associated with returning home, you also want to keep in mind about pooling water within your home, whether it's in the basement, the main floor, or such. Water could have gotten in from aerial drops. It could have gotten in through many different ways. So again, even if your house looks okay from the outside, just be aware that there could be hidden risks inside. Check your attic to ensure that it is still dry, that you don't have pooling water that could potentially cause the roof to collapse. If you have visible water damage, again, you want to be aware that water could be pooling in the roof, in the insulation, or other areas that can cause the roof to collapse on you or the ceilings to collapse without notice. And I've seen this happen post-fire in residences as well as apartment buildings, and it can be very catastrophic to the person that's under it when it falls. Keeping in mind as well that although the water may be murky and you think it's just because of dirt or whatever, there could be potential backup of sewer lines, of drainage lines and such through the main sewer systems within the area. With the amount of water being dropped and flooded into the system, or just blockages caused by fire, by pipelines breaking, and so forth, that water could be more than just dirt and soil that's in it if it is mucky and cloudy. Even if it seems clear, you want to be aware that there could be potential backup of the sewer lines through your toilets, through your bathtubs, through your sinks that has contaminated that water. It could be carrying disease. It could be carrying just any type of bacteria or other things that could lead to illness. So be very aware of that. I strongly recommend wearing hip waders if the water is up past your boot lines. Make sure that you protect yourself. Wear personal protection gear, wear gloves. Again, you don't know what has burned in the surrounding area. Somebody could have had chemicals in the garage that have been burned, and the contamination could reach your property through airborne particulates. Taking that to the next level, of course, you want to be aware of these things. Wear a respiratory mask so that you are not breathing in any of these airborne particulates or carcinogens. You want to be very aware of that. Once again, I can't repeat this enough, especially if you are young, elderly, have immune system issues, or respiratory illness. You want to be aware of the potential risks. Pregnant women, again, there are short-term and long-term dangers. When you return home, you may not be thinking about airborne particulates. You may not be thinking of that the water you're stepping into could have been backed up sewer lines, just different things like that. So you need to be very cognizant of the risks when you return home. You want to document any of the damage and such for your insurance company. So again, try to get the pictures and documentation videos and such as you go through the property. Don't do it after you've started to clean up or whatever the case is. So again, it's just very important to keep those things in mind. Other dangers, of course, when it comes to your home and returning after fires. You may not see any damage from the smoke or the flames, but if the temperature was greatly increased within your home or business during the fire, that could lead to contamination of food items, even if they are in sealed containers, such as canned goods, jarred goods, all of that. When you look at the canned goods, for example, you have in most of them, between the aluminum that's used for the container, they have a plastic or a liner that helps to keep any seepage between the food and such and the container itself, so you don't get that leaching happening into the consumables. So again, if those cans had been heated up, they could have damaged the inside, um, the covering of the inside of those cans, and again, could cause leaching into the food. So even though your food items may not look damaged, they're still sealed. Keep in mind that there is the risk that they could potentially still be contaminated due to the fluctuation of the heat and temperatures, all of that. And that includes anything from canned foods to any other dry goods, anything that's sealed, uh, consumables such as water, juices, things that are in refrigerators, freezers, all of that. Even though it may appear to be okay, it is best to err on the side of caution. It can be unfortunately expensive, but at the same time, it's about your safety. And so those are some points to keep in mind when it comes to returning home. Now, if you would like more information on emergency response, on planning for disasters for yourself or your business, or if you would like to learn more about returning home or to your business after a disaster, there is a book out there, and it is a post-fire, flood, and disaster guidebook. And if you message us or send an email through propixcanada.com, we'll send you a free ebook PDF of that so that you can get a free copy of it to help ensure that you are safe in returning to your home or preparing for any type of disaster. Again, it's a great resource to have and to read, but it can definitely help save you from illness, from injury, and so much more. Now, also keep in mind that when you return home, you may have standing water. Now, it may be just standing water that's a bit murky, you can't see, you're not thinking about much. But keep in mind again that things could have fallen off of shelves or, whatever the case may be that you may not see. So you want to make sure you have safe footwear on so you don't step on anything and hurt yourself and flow. So again, there's so many safety issues to keep in mind. But again, far and foremost, there are the invisible risks such as airborne particulates and carcinogens that can impact your health. And that is right from immediacy for people with respiratory illness or other immune deficiencies, right through to pregnant women, potential birth defects, and such. So again, be very, very careful when returning. And again, that guidebook is absolutely free. Just send us a message via email at propixcanada.com. Go to the website, send us a message, and we'll get you a free copy of that ebook so that you can look after yourself a bit better and be a bit more aware of the hidden dangers when you return home. With that said, of course, on the screen we can see the feed still going from ABC affiliate KABC. That's via routers, and we appreciate them posting this or sharing this and allowing us to replay it. And I'll go and see if we can bring that screen up more. Thank you for joining us. To those who have joined, Pally 10, PXL, CCE, welcome. Shane, welcome. And again, we've just finished talking about how to safely return home, being aware of the hidden dangers of returning to a property after disaster. Again, we will post this video for replay for anybody who missed all of the safety information that we've been sharing. We want to make sure that it's available to people. So again, if you are just joining us partway through, it will be reposted so you can catch all of the safety information that we've talked about. Right now, the count, last count that I checked was 11 people have deceased from the fires, and we do anticipate that number will go up substantially. And that is just, really, really sad to see. Now, for those who are just joining us again, on January the 27th, we will be live streaming a comedy benefit. Various comedians are going to get together and do a live show in Vancouver, British Columbia to raise funds for wildfire disaster relief. And that will also be live streamed for free worldwide. So again, there will be two shows which will be different. They won't be the same show replayed. And that will be on January the 27th at 7 p.m. Pacific and 10 p.m. Pacific as well. So those are the show times for the Stand Up for LA benefit. Once again, it will stream live online as well. You can find more information on one of the show sponsors' websites, and that is crazyapeswebdesign.com/stand up for LA. Once again, the site is crazyapeswebdesign.com/stand up for LA. And that is online. You can get information about the benefit that will be taking place on January the 27th. More information will be released in the coming days on that event. So again, make sure that you check that out. And for more information, you can also be sure to follow us here so that you can keep up to date on any announcements and additions to it. With that, folks, once again, I'm just going to send my thoughts, my prayers out to all of the people in LA County, and we'll come back live later today and give updates. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching ProPix TV. I am James Kuzno coming to you from the studios in Vancouver, British Columbia.